And hello, welcome back to the Gay Racing Podcast. Zack and Alex are back with you to talk about NASCAR at Bristol and a little bit of IMSA at Indianapolis, the Battle of the Bricks. They had a little 6-hour race there, but mostly just NASCAR at Bristol. And I don't know what exactly we're going to end up talking about today because it wasn't the most. Well, you know, in the springtime, Alex, we were the gay tire experts, and we were trying to figure out why the tires were, wearing a lot in the spring race. And as it comes to find out, we still don't know why, because they brought the same tires back, and the racing was nothing like what we saw in the spring. So,
but Zach, the general consensus was that wasn't going to ever happen again. It was like a fluke situation.
But we don't know why. That's the weird part.
Yeah.
Like, the scientist in me needs to know why, and no one knows. Honestly, I think someone just mislabeled some tires. Or as Denny said, someone pee-peed in the mixture. I think that's increasingly likely. Like, honestly, that's my scientific. That's the explanation from fellow gay tire expert, Zack Dreamy. That's my name. So
Zack, comma
Dr. Dreamy. I'm Dr. Dreamy. That sounds bad. That sounds worse than Kyle Larson spanking the field last night, actually.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
He really did.
That was me.
Like,
what?
Oh,
what?
We're only a minute and a half into the episode.
Who said that? I didn't say that. My mouth was not moving. You can watch the video. I did not say that.
Well, I'm sure that'll be on TikTok. Anyway, Kyle Larson did indeed spank the field last night. He led 462 laps, the most in Bristol night race history, beats Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s record of 415 in the Bristol night race.
That's crazy.
Cale Yarborough had led 495 laps at Bristol in the spring in 1977.
But it wasn't at night.
That's it. Exactly. The lights were not on.
Lights were not on. That makes the whole difference. That's so stupid. I'm sorry.
Guys, when Kyle Larson is good, he's really good. And we've seen Larson dominate like this before, right? It's like, okay, we know Kyle Larson's really good. Yeah. But a lot of times he shoots himself in the foot. He throws it away, such as Darlington, as you kindly brought up there, Zach. But this time he was just flawless. And sure, he had some help. He had the aero problems. You can't pass. Everyone's going the same speed. Whatever. They're separate problems. But Kyle Larson still on merit dominated this race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, people could also say, like, well, they couldn't pass last night. Like, I made a tweet last night, and I said, Kyle Larson just beat your favorite driver harder than anyone else ever has. Mostly just referring to Denny, what Denny said last year.
Yeah.
I know Martin Truex led the Coke 600 that one year. I was there, but, my thing is...
You were not there.
I was there watching on TV.
Okay.
I was there watching on TV. Don't cut me off.
Okay.
Anyways, but now I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the thing is, no one really caught Larson last night.
Nope.
No one caught him. No one was stuck behind him. That's the crazy thing. And he had to navigate lap traffic all night, which is somewhat impressive at Bristol, especially it's hard to actually lap cars unless it's the 66. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's, it was hard to put cars lap down. He stayed patient. He executed perfectly, made literally no mistakes on a night where there were so many speeding penalties and stuff. So, but those are mostly guys on the cut line. So that might be a different situation. Very impressed. This was one of his best performances of his career, I would say, especially, for the fact that he didn't throw it away and there was no random call. We didn't have an overtime. Oh my God.
And I know a lot of people thought this race was boring, and we'll talk about it. But
no, it was, but
yeah. But I'm so glad this didn't have stupid overtime.
I agree.
Because look,
that's the silver lining.
Even if it was boring, we got to witness something cool in a different way. We got to see someone just completely dominate.
Yep.
And I'm sorry if you don't like that, but that is really cool. And that's what a lot of people found really cool about the Jeff Gordon era in the 90s, the Jimmy Johnson era in the 2000s. We don't get a lot of this with this car specifically because they're just the same spec. You're not going to see this a lot.
So it's cool to see.
especially in a race where they can't pass. The fact that he was able to get around the lap traffic, it makes it more impressive.
People have so much nostalgia for like domination, but people rarely have appreciation for it in the moment. Now, obviously, it's very easy for me to appreciate it as a Larson fan. And you know what? I'll tell you right now, last night was just one of those wins. I didn't feel much emotion for it. I was just like, cool. Good job.
Yeah.
Moving on. Because he's kind of had that season where he'll win like maybe once every month. Maybe he'll skip a month every now and then. But he's consistently like, winning a race here and there. And that makes me really happy to see as a Larson fan. And it's something that I remember we talked about earlier this year when he first won at Las Vegas. This year, this team just feels ready to go compete for that title at Phoenix. So that's good to see. And now I just realized 5 more playoff points too.
That's huge.
He won the stages, didn't he? So 7. We got 7 more points. Oh my gosh. What a night.
And that's huge because he was after Atlanta. He had that crash. He's now, if something happens at Kansas or Talladega, for example, he's going to be in a lot better position going into the Roval in just a few weeks.
Yep.
So those are definitely going to matter.
Yeah.
But let's kind of talk about the actual race itself, because as we kind of said, it wasn't the best race. But I didn't hate this race. I know a lot of people were telling Jeff Gluck, like, poster poll right now. I want to vote no. And listen, I voted no on Jeff Gluck's
I voted
poll.
no. You got to vote no. That was not good. I'm sorry.
But was it like the worst race ever? No. I mean, glad we didn't have chaos after Watkins Glen. Yeah, I would prefer not chaos.
I do like an orderly race. NASCAR needed an orderly race. I just don't know if that had to be the Bristol night race. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yes.
This is not how a Bristol race should run.
This should be the crazy wild card race. That's what the reputation of this race is.
But that doesn't mean it should be like a wreck fest, 20 overtimes,
I don't know. It's Bristol. It should kind of be a wreck fest, to be honest.
You're right. It's a short track, but that doesn't mean they have to wreck. They can bump and bang into each other. They can't do that with this car.
Corey LaJoie
always finds a way.
He always finds a way to wreck. He said, I'm going to go out. We'll talk about it. I'm going out with a bang.
Is
going to wreck one
surprised?
more car for you, Spire. Oh, we'll talk about that later. Let me shut up. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, but this just isn't Bristol, right? This felt more like a Richmond race.
Richmond this year, Richmond a few months ago was more Bristol than this, honestly.
Yeah. And even that wasn't really like short track racing. They need to go back to the drawing board on short tracks.
They did a good job
Bristol
with
and Spring
Richmond.
was a fluke. Yeah.
I feel like Richmond was a good race. I don't know if it was necessarily the alternate compound, but people could pass somewhat. There was a little bit of tire wear. I mean, I don't know if alternate tires are the solution to short tracks. I know Christopher Bell spoke out that that's not how he wants to be able to race. That's just one driver's opinion, but they've got to do something they got to do something like that if they're not going to change the car, because honestly, they probably need to just change the car somehow, but that's fundamentally going to be very difficult. It seems like. So,
well, the one thing they haven't really done yet is adding horsepower, and that's what a mass majority of people continue to say they should try, but they don't want to do it.
They're going to find some reason why they can't. And
because Honda's joining NASCAR, Zach, or Dodge, or someone.
I'm just so over the whole thing. Like, how do we fix short tracks? How do we fix NASCAR? I don't know. It's not my job to fix NASCAR. It shouldn't be something I'm even thinking about low key. Like, I shouldn't have to think about how to fix NASCAR. Like, I don't know. It's just that's why, like, I kind of had some uneasy feelings about getting on today and recording. I'm just like, what am I supposed to talk about with this race?
Yeah.
Not that it was like boring, but it kind of was. I mean, there just wasn't any, even the playoff cut line storylines were just kind of, Truex got back there and then he couldn't climb. Like, that would
the last the last 100 laps, it kind of just stagnated because Ty Gibbs couldn't get around Daniel Suarez.
I think it was the bottom wore out.
No one could pass. So the points stayed the same.
I think because that PJ1 wore out, now that I think about it. Because the lanes were more even at the beginning of the race. But once that, I wonder if they should reapply it in the stage breaks. I almost wonder. But no, that takes a long time though. It doesn't know.
I was gonna say I don't know how long it takes.
I'm gay. I don't know. Just put some glue on there or something. I don't know.
Glue.
The glue truck.
Yeah. Well, my favorite part of this race, Zach, was the Arby's car that we would see on screen about every 5 seconds because that car was going so slow.
That was the most entertaining part of the race. That was so funny. And I'm just like, they need to get Josh Bilicki off the track at first. That's what I was saying. But I'm like, wait a minute. No, keep that car. Actually, we need more. Get a Wendy's car. Get a Wendy's car. Get a McDonald's car. Get a Burger King car. I need these guys going 45 miles per hour on this track.
Well, first, I think you texted me that why did Arby sponsor the 66 car? Then I'm like, I don't know. They just wanted money to burn. It turns out to be a franchise, by the way. It wasn't like Arby's proper. It was like a franchise of an Arby's. But they get on the slowest car, and then I see the 66 like 5 times in like 2 minutes. I tell you, well, they're on screen more than anyone, so it's a good idea.
I think I saw the 66 more than Kyle Larson because there were so many moments where cars are going 3 wide because there's 2 cars side by side getting past the 66. It legit. I feel like there was one accident that got caused because of the 66 because they kind of got bunched up. I forgot which one it was. It might have been the Logano one. Either way, like I mean, we almost needed more cars like that because it jumbled up the field as they were getting by lap traffic. Like, it's kind of dumb, but I don't know, man. It's kind of entertaining at the same time. So,
like, I love, messing around on Twitter. I had like 3 funny posts about that car last night. I was like, I'm just giggling over the 66 car. It was just so funny. Yes.
We need a gay racing podcast car. The idea is brought back. We don't even have to be fast. We can run it at Martinsville. We'll get plenty of TV time. We can get any little gay boy out there to drive it. Any little gay boys listening, if you're 18, you can drive a car. Then let us know. We will put you in that car. I'm sure they'll give you a license. It's just Martinsville.
It's just Martinsville.
Yeah. That's our plan. We'll get so much advertising. Low-key, that was me on iRacing when I ran Bristol yesterday. I was getting lapped. I only got lapped once, though. I only got lapped once. Only once. Yeah, my little gay racing podcast car. I didn't get wrecked somehow.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, I want to talk about some other highlights from this race besides the Arby's car. Ryan Blaney was a story for me because he started back in like the mid-20s. He rallied into the top 10. It looked like at a point he was going to like push all the way through, but once he got to 6th or 7th, he kind of stalled out. Really impressive run for him, I think. Yeah, because those Penske cars and Cindric was also able to make a lot of passes in the race.
And really, he probably made most of that ground up before the 3rd stage started.
Yeah, he was up there in stage 2 by the time stage 2 ended.
Yeah, because you couldn't pass in stage 3. So that's really impressive that he did that in 250 laps, basically. That's really good.
And then I also want to shout out Chase Briscoe because he finished 8th, but at one point he was 3 wide for 2nd with, I believe it was Truex and Denny Hamlin. That was probably the moment of the race, just for how exciting it was in the moment. He ended up recovering from a bad pit stop. He fell to like 14th or so, managed to come back through when no one else was able to pass. Still finished top 10.
He didn't lose that many spots though. Like he only lost like 5 spots, I think.
He went from 2nd to outside the top 10. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm saying though, like he didn't like go all the way to the back like Truex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's because that's why I think it was a bit easier, and I think he definitely had a really good restart when they were still 2 wide. So, But no, nonetheless, I'm very impressed with Chase Briscoe. This looks a lot like his season 2 years ago in the playoffs, where I think he could Ryan Newman his way into the Final 4.
Would not surprise me. That'd be kind of the Cinderella story because Stewart-Haas Racing's closing at the end of the season.
I mean, I don't deny him his ability to win the championship. Which is the crazy thing about this format. And it might be crazy for me to say, but with how this format is laid out, that 14 team, if they really strike it right, and this would be severely more of a comeback story than Blaney's kind of comeback, I guess, to win the championship last year. Like,
I don't even think Blaney's was a comeback. He was solid all year.
No, it was.
He was. No.
It was.
No.
It was. No, it was.
He was strong throughout the year, and then he had a super strong playoff.
Me looking for Ryan Blaney before Talladega last year. Can't find him. Nope, don't see him. No.
You're just a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm just real.
So Chase Briscoe, by the way, I do think it's gonna be really interesting to see how he does in the 19 car next year, because Stewart-Haas Racing's a dying team, and he's putting in some solid runs the past few weeks. I'm not jumping to conclusions like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get in 19 and win a lot. But it is something to think about, because the Stewart-Haas Racing's kind of sucked. Last couple of years, so it's something to think about.
Well, think about, like, he won Darlington and ran up front all night. A very hard, grueling race. He ran up front all night last night. Very hard and grueling. Like, it's obvious that he is ready for that 19 car to me. And
like, he's proven it to me now.
He's proving to me how, like, good he is.
Yeah.
Just, especially for these playoffs. And they talked about it on the NBC a little bit last night. Just Chase Briscoe's mentality is just so set. It's so right. Like, it's ready to go contend for a championship, which is a really good mentality for a team like that, who's, starts the round of 12 literally last, because they don't have that many playoff points. So
and before we take a look at the playoff grid for the round of 12, let's talk about the guys who are not moving on. Martin Truex Jr., as we said, had a speeding penalty that pushed him way back. Ty Gibbs also had a speeding penalty. He wasn't able to recover from that either, which I think he had the car to do it, but frustrating. He couldn't get around Daniel Suarez at the end there. Brad Keselowski was just bad.
Bad. He was bad in the entire round, where Atlanta, he should have been there maybe winning stages and stuff. He wasn't. And
his teammate won Watkins Glen.
Yeah, that too. Like, and again, remember Watkins Glen, he had that uncontrolled tire and he lost track position.
And he was in a couple incidents too.
Yeah, because even then though, it's not like he was running that much up front. I Watkins Glen. So he just had a bad round.
Harrison Burton was the last exit, but I do want to focus back on Brad Keselowski, because I know Truex got eliminated, but I think Keselowski's my surprise exit.
It's somewhat, when guys like Suarez, for example, but in Keselowski for Keselowski to be like basically in a must-win situation is insane. Like, he should not have had this bad of a round.
Just because of how he's kind of run this year. I know he kind of fell off a bit from the spring, early summer, but I still think he was better than a lot of the guys that advanced, or had been better. I mean, Austin Cindric got a ton of stage points. He's easily made it in. Alex Bowman locked in before the race was even over. Those are guys people had out in this round. Daniel Suarez obviously ran 30th and managed to advance because of all the points he had built up earlier in the round. So he got rewarded for that. I just had much higher expectations for Keselowski.
Yeah, that six team seems to be a little bit inconsistent, I guess. Like, maybe quietly inconsistent. Like, we're not really noticing, because I can't really think of the last time they were really competing for a win.
Yeah.
Like, they had they finished 5th at Michigan, but they've had a lot of, like, finishes outside the top 10 and like a rough summer. Definitely not where they were in the springtime. So it checks out. It checks out. And again, that's what they did not bring speed at all. Nope. So it doesn't, and they didn't really have many playoff points either. So this doesn't really surprise me that this is going to happen. And the thing that's crazy to me is just Daniel Suarez is just lucky Ty Gibbs sped on pit road.
Oh, yeah.
Ty Gibbs was in position, and I can't believe you... Easy for me to say. I just can't believe you make that mistake. Same for Martin Truex. I can't believe you speed. I cannot believe that. And that's going to haunt them for the rest of the season. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think either were championship contenders, but they were both capable of advancing at least to the next round. Yeah.
So, that just really sucks. Like, especially for Ty Gibbs, because Ty Gibbs, I mean, he only needed like what 6, 7, 8 spots, I think. Like if he was,
he ended up losing a ton at the end there. I think he just over pushed the car and it started to fall off. But when he was with Suarez for most of it, it was only like 4 points.
Yeah,
so it was really close. And now let's pull up the playoff grid.
We're just not going to talk about Harrison Burton. I'm just kidding.
I mentioned him in passing.
I know. Poor Harrison.
Yeah.
Poor Harrison.
So round of 12 is Kansas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval. And taking a look here at the points as they are updated. Now, Denny Hamlin, by the way, did advance. I predicted he would not. He had said that he wanted to make 60 points in the first round. He got 71, I believe. And if he would have only got 60, he would have made it by 1 point.
Yeah, I don't know what he was cooking there. Him and Chris Gabehart need to go back to the drawing board with that one.
And I understand he made it through and everything. He made it, I believe, by like 14 or so at the end. But it was too risky. I still don't agree with that.
I think they realize, and I mean, we saw confidence in that team last night. Like Chris Gabehart came over the radio at one point and said, "It doesn't matter, we're going to win." That's exactly how they need to feel. And they could have won last night. Maybe if they could pass, they could have won. But I liked what I saw out of the 11 team last night. They're back. Yeah. They're not selling their dog. Thank God. They're getting rid of it.
So Kyle Larson will be the new point leader going into Kansas. Has a pretty healthy lead here, plus 39. Yeah. And it's Bell, Reddick, Byron, Blaney are the top 5. Blaney's only plus 11. And going down to the bottom of the list is Chase Briscoe, Bowman at -7, Suarez -6, Cindric -4, then Logano and Elliott right above the cut line. If you were to ask me who's going to get eliminated, my safe bet would be the bottom 4, right? But for a lot of people, that bottom 4, Cindric, Suarez, Bowman, Briscoe, would have been the first round exits.
I think literally I had Suarez and Briscoe out. Bowman and Cindric I saw getting in this round. I think, listen, like just look at the top 8. That seems like such a good round of 8. Like that seems like a typical round of 8, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's 2 Penske cars, like what, 3 Hendrick cars, and then 3 Toyotas. Like that seems so typical. But this round is anything from typical. We got Talladega and the Roval. And, you know, Cindric, Suarez, Bowman, they're good on road courses. And Talladega, anything can happen. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight, man. It's going to be a dogfight for this. And because if I had to pick 4, I'm picking the 4 that are already below the cut line.
Yeah.
But Alex Bowman has been having a really good playoffs.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. But if nothing crazy happens, I would expect the bottom 4 to stay the same. But as you just said, Alex Bowman, he's been one of the best of the whole playoffs. You know who you need to watch? Who's that? You got to watch William Byron, because I don't know that team. Where did they finish last night? I remember they had some struggles last night. In the teens, I think. So you got to watch William Byron. Tyler Reddick has been off. They sacrificed. They won that. They got like good stage points last night, and then they sacrificed their track position. And Zack, speak of William Byron and Tyler Reddick, both of those two were the 2 drivers ahead of Denny Hamlin in points at the end of the night. They were only like around plus 20, plus 17 in points. They didn't have the smoothest round. Reddick was really bad at Watkins Glen for some reason. I'm not feeling comfortable. I know they have some points, but I'm not. It's only 20 points. It's only 14 points. I'm not feeling comfortable if I'm those 2. So if Bowman or Cindric or Suarez or Briscoe, if they are going to make it to the next round, I think it will be at the expense of someone like William Byron, someone like Tyler Reddick. I like what I've been seeing out of Blaney. He could just go win in Talladega and it doesn't matter. I believe in the 11 team. I think Logano's got to be careful, of course. And I think even Chase Elliott has to be careful as well, because because they don't have a lot of playoff points built up, they cannot afford a mistake at all, because they haven't been winning a lot of races. So, and that's kind of my forecast. That brings me back to what we talked about before we started recording, Zach. So many drivers can win Kansas. And they're going to want to. And they're all going to need to. They're going to want to, but they need to. That might be the most important race of the year.
You need to win Kansas because you do not want to go to Talladega. And the Roval maybe is different. We haven't seen the Roval be that chaotic lately, but it's still a road course.
Yeah, it's still an elimination race. I would
still
say
restarts.
Yeah.
Like, it's still crazy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Kansas.
You will be there.
Man, I will be there, as will our friend Jackson Todd. And I'm still thinking about what you said about Tyler Reddick. Because Kansas is a track he won the fall race there a year ago.
Yep.
2311 has been good there in the past, but they sucked there in the spring. 2311 was awful there in the spring.
And I wonder if it was like, if because they weren't set up for like cooler temperatures at a night race, because it was unexpectedly a night race. I don't know. Maybe it was just an off week for them, and maybe they'll go back to having speed. I have thoughts about it that I'll kind of unveil in fantasy later, but
yeah. Okay.
Because I'm a little undecided on it still as I say it. Like, I don't know what to expect from them.
Right. So. Something to keep an eye on. I don't know how much of an impact it makes, but Joe Gibbs Racing did lose half their roster.
That's crazy. Yeah. Truex, again, so. Ty Gibbs is the bigger surprise than Truex. And Martin Truex will leave this sport as just a one-time champion. It was just, man, he should have won so many more, but it's the playoffs, and he just did not have that he didn't have that, what's it called? He just didn't have that killer instinct in some moments, which, whatever.
Oh, well. Yep.
I'm glad he got 2017 at least. That would have sucked if he'd never got 2017.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm glad he got that one. But with that, we'll move on to the T. We'll talk more about NASCAR Kansas and fantasy later. Into the T. We're talking about F1 a little bit.
F1's been getting spicy.
Zach, you and I were snoozing when this race happened.
When I woke up, the race was still on.
Oh, okay.
I watched a little bit of it, but Lando had it locked up. So
gotcha. So yeah, Lando Norris did win the Singapore Grand Prix. He was 21 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, who was in second. He does close the points lead on Verstappen to 52 points. However, Lando could win the remaining races. Verstappen could finish second in all of them. Verstappen would still win the championship, including like all the sprints and everything. Yes,
but this is only Verstappen's third podium in the last 8 races.
Mm-hmm.
I would not. I expect Lando to keep cutting into this, and I think we're going to go to Abu Dhabi with a fight. I think that's my forecast, because McLaren has just been class of the field. Now, it is impressive that Verstappen was able to pull off P2 just with how that Red Bull's been performing. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And something that stood out to me is that Daniel Ricciardo, it sounds like this might be his last race.
Yeah. It sounds like they're going to replace him with, I think, Liam Lawson, I believe.
That's what it sounds like.
Another midseason driver swap.
So I suppose what happened was at the end there was they pitted him late and he got fastest lap. I believe Lando Norris had fastest lap.
I think so.
So that took away a point from Lando. Daniel Ricciardo was, of course, driving for the junior team for Red Bull. I don't know what it's called now.
It's called Visa Cash App Arby. I think most of them just call them Arby.
Okay.
Which is stupid.
I still think of it as AlphaTauri or Toro Rosso.
Toro Rosso. Just bring back. Why can't they just call it Toro Rosso? Visa Cash App Toro Rosso.
Yeah. But apparently that might have been a ploy just to not even save a point for Verstappen, but also maybe a little farewell send-off for Daniel Ricciardo, which is pretty cool.
That's emotionally messed up.
Yeah.
Like, that's your final lap in Formula One. We'll let you get fastest lap. That's so many emotions.
For sure.
And I don't even know how he's been doing this year, so I don't know if this is really a justified change or not, but he is one of the most popular drivers. But it's F1.
Yeah.
Everyone's begging him to come to IndyCar or even NASCAR, which I think you'd be very welcome to NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch of Australians in NASCAR. SVG, Lee Diffie's up in the booth. You feel very, very... Or isn't SVG from New Zealand? Same thing. It's in the continent of Australia. Aren't they called Australians? New Zealanders?
They're called Kiwis.
Yeah, but aren't they... Would they fall under the umbrella of being Australian? Because it's the continent of Australia?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I guess not.
I think they would take offense to that.
Would that be like Mexican, like if someone from Mexico is called an American because they're from North America, I guess. But that's different.
I think
that's
so.
different.
It's similar concept.
Girl, I mean, y'all are the same. No. Let me stop. What's the difference between New Zealand and Australia? What do y'all do different? Are the kangaroos different?
Well, Zach,
let me stop. The kangaroos.
Zach, we should ask the FBI. Get them on the case on this. You know why?
Oh, why?
Because
what have they been up to?
Earlier this week, they raided RLL, Rahal Letterman Lanigan. But then today in Indianapolis Motor Speedway, RLL went 1-2 in the GTP class.
They investigated the wrong race team. They went after the IndyCar team.
They said, "Oh, you're going to come into our building here. We're going to go lock in. We're going to get locked in. Let's do it.
See you in court."
See you in court.
See you in court. That's crazy. That's just crazy. Apparently, intellectual property was stolen from like someone that used to work at Andretti.
Yeah.
I wonder what intellectual property it is. Like, what do you mean? Like a setup or something? Like,
I don't know. Girl. Something.
Girl, maybe it was two lovers and they were. Maybe they were like maybe it was a bad breakup.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's some intellectual property.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've stolen my heart. That's intellectual property. I'm going to raid the FBI. I'm going to have the FBI raid you. That's crazy. That's just legit crazy. I don't care. The FBI literally raided an IndyCar team and I'm just like, I don't care.
That's such an average story for the IndyCar season this year. Like, of course the FBI raided a team. Duh.
I love how the actual season ended with a good note, and then the week after, we have to have the story to come out to put it back into crazy negativity.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear anything about Penske cheating. I don't want to hear anything about it anymore because at least Penske didn't get raided by the FBI. Yet.
But to focus on the IMSA race, the 6 hours of Indianapolis, apparently next year is when they're doing the 8 hours.
Were they building up to it? Just do it this year. What are they doing?
Last week you asked me, are they doing the 8 hour? I'm like, well, yeah, they're doing 8 hour because they've been promoting it.
I realized
that's what I thought too.
Hours. Why would they? And then there's already a 6 hour IMSA race at the Glen. Do an 8 hour race. Then all your endurance races have a unique length.
Well, they're doing it next year.
Why not this year? Build prestige for your event. Yeah, and it's called Battle at the Bricks. That's the official name, I think.
That name goes hard. I love it.
Does it?
I like it.
Call it the 6 hours of Indianapolis or the 8 hours. See, there's no branding. Brand your event. Why would you do it 6 for 1 year? That's like, I don't get that. It's just 2 extra hours.
I like Battle at the Bricks. I see what you're saying, though. Because we didn't know how many hours the race actually was.
Oh, whatever. Petit Le Mans is still the hardest name for an IndyCar race or IMSA race. IndyCar. Petit Le Mans. They should have an IndyCar race called Petit Monaco. I guess that wouldn't make sense.
Petit Monaco.
What's Petit and what do they speak? Monegasque? What do they speak? What language do they speak?
I don't know.
What's small Monaco? Never mind. I'm gonna shut up.
You're just yapping.
I'm going off on my little who rambles in NASCAR. That's what I'm doing right now.
Clint Boyer.
I'm going off my little Clint Boyer tangent.
I want to talk about LMP2 because I'm a big fan of Mikkel Jensen and Hunter Macrae. If you don't understand why, check out their Instagram pages.
Just look at them and you'll understand why.
That's why I like them.
Just take a look at them.
They got the win in LMP2. That's really cool. Big Mikkel Jensen fan. And then Connor Zilisch.
You're a huge Mikkel Jensen fan. You love him a lot. Yeah.
Yes, big fan. And Connor Zilisch, you may recognize that name. He's the 18-year-old, younger than the Cars movie, who won in the Xfinity Series a few weeks ago.
Future NASCAR champion.
Yes, he got the podium in LMP2.
I'm disappointed. He should have won. I'm blaming it on his teammates. He carried that team. I know he carried that team.
Do you know this?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. He was second at one point. He lost the position. I don't know if it was like on a pit cycle or strategy or something, but because they were very spread out. Like he was like 40 seconds behind first, so they were very spread out. So
and he caught up to them. I'm pretty sure he was catching them toward the end, but he had to serve a penalty. Connors.
Oh, is that why he lost the spot? Then okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's on him.
And then last thing I want to mention about this race, two things. One, there were so many cautions because it was raining, which...
Oh my God, what is with racing series? Being like,
IMSA,
it's raining too much. No, we can't race in the rain, even though we say we can.
So
it's raining too much.
There was so much water like on the racing line, they like had like a stupid long caution to get the water off the track.
Cautions. Yeah.
But if they have just a caution for someone spinning, it takes like half an hour. And I'm just like, this sucks. I put on a movie.
That's NASCAR.
The caution was taking on too long.
Yeah, when a car spins, we gotta have a whole caution for it. That's so stupid. I wonder if it's because like if it was a hybrid car, I know not all the cars are hybrids, but like if they have to be careful touching it, I don't think so. But those only be GCP cars, I think, that are hybrid. I don't know. I'm gay.
Yeah. Last point about IMSA, both the Penske cars, the 6 and the 7, they are separated by 14th going into Petit Le Mans, the championship race. The NBC booth kept saying that the best finisher between them at Petit Le Mans will be champion.
Awesome.
So
winner take all.
Penske W.
What a good. And so I guess third place isn't in contention, I assume, because they were like 150 back.
That's what it sounded like to me.
I don't know how their point system works, so...
That's Again, cool. if you have questions about IMSA, ask at Avery Hage on Twitter.
Don't go to their website. For God forbid, don't go to their website. That's not going to help.
No, it's probably a month behind on updates, if that.
Jesus. Now I love this Nexpedity.
Yeah, I'm excited because you said before we recorded you had a lot to say about this. So let's talk about it.
I found this out Friday afternoon watching qualifying. I missed the news bit that came out earlier in the day. Corey LaJoie and Justin Haley will do a ride swap starting at Kansas. They will switch teams effective immediately after this weekend, of course, like after Bristol. So at Kansas, Justin Haley will be in the 7 Spire car and Corey LaJoie will be at the number 51. And it sounds like Justin Haley will be at Spire next season.
Mm-hmm.
But Corey LaJoie is not confirmed to be at Rick Ware next season. This is kind of a test for him. So I want to say, let's start with the Justin Haley bit. I love this. Justin Haley has been at Spire before. That team has now changed a lot since he was last there.
It's a lot
I think if Justin Haley wants to be a race winner in the Cup Series, who doesn't? That's exactly where he needs to go. Because I don't think Rick Ware Racing has shown that much. Spire has. They've been fast lately. Didn't they have all 3 cars qualifying the top 10 at Bristol? Or did I make that up? Or did they just all finish in the... I think Carson Hocevar and Corey LaJoie both got in the top 10 in qualifying. Now, asterisk, I think a lot of teams were set up for tire wear. So they didn't have single lap pace, which... that's why there was a lot of cars like Byron and other cars running in the back. They just weren't set up right. Anyways, I love this move because it's also Justin Haley's won with the team before at Daytona. I think that's a cool callback to that. I think he fits there. Because he just fits there. I don't know why. He's a good accent to Carson Hocevar. Because Justin Haley's a little bit more level-headed. He's still fast. We've seen him do really good stuff in the Rick Ware car. Good for Justin Haley. This is definitely a positive move for him. Positive move for Spire, obviously. Michael McDowell's going to be there next year as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that.
So good. That's a really good 3-car team on a budget.
I want to say something about Spire.
Yes.
The height difference between Justin Haley and Carson Hocevar is going to be crazy.
That's cute. Oh, they're gonna be so cute. I hope one of them wins and they do what the Colling boys used to do, where they go out in the front stretch and just hug each other. That'd be cute.
Yeah,
that'd be really cute.
And then Zach, you want to talk about Corey LaJoie going to Rick Ware?
Unfortunately, as one of the only few guys that managed to wreck last night, going off with a bang. He's like, I can't end my Spire career without wrecking just one more car for them. It was just a mistake. He made a mistake again. He just and I'm not saying that I wouldn't do the same thing in the situation, but I just feel like you can tell Corey LaJoie is not ready for the Cup level. He's just not supposed to be here. I think he's been feeling a lot of the negative talk too. I think he just needs to go do what Matt DiBenedetto did. Go back to Xfinity. Just go to Xfinity. He's never been there. So just go to Xfinity, do whatever. My thing is, this Rick Ware car, I actually don't have much to say about him going to a Rick Ware car. I just find it interesting that this is kind of a test for if Rick Ware wants him for next year.
Imagine having to take a test and it's like the worst team in NASCAR that's full time, asterisk, because the 66 car is not full time.
They should be.
Wants to be like, I want to see if you're good enough for this. And it's the worst car on the grid. That's a little embarrassing.
I mean, Rick Ware Racing could literally get, maybe they are looking at Ryan Preece too. Maybe they should get Ryan Preece for next year. And at least Ryan Preece could probably bring the car home. I mean, seriously.
The rumor is that Ryan Preece is going to RFK in a third car next year.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's the rumor.
But I like that. Or like anybody else. Like who in Xfinity doesn't have a job? Who in truck doesn't have a job for next year? Like just anybody else. I would not want Corey LaJoie in my race car.
Harrison Burton was available. That's our next.
And now he's not. But I guess we'll move on to that because I don't have much to say except I love it. I just love the immediate effect of Justin Haley being in the Spire car. I just love it because it's definitely a downgrade for Corey LaJoie. It's and it's kind of what he deserves to be frank. So Harrison Burton, speaking of downgrades, I think he's going to AM Racing. That's the 15 car that Haley Deegan drove for like the first half of the season. Now it's been like Joey Logano, Lawless Allen, Josh Berry. They've been in the car lately. Yeah. So
Lawless Allen had a really strong race in this car at one race.
I feel like I've seen him up front. Yeah, it might have been Daytona though. I don't know, but I feel like I saw him.
I think it was Michigan.
Maybe it was. I feel like So I like that. Now I want to look it up. But I think this is. It doesn't make me happy as a Harrison Burton fan. It doesn't make me happy, but. Where else was he going to go? I'm surprised it's just like he's still, committed with Ford. Like that's a Ford team. They're going to have a technical alliance with, isn't it like the Haas team and Xfinity and what's the other Ford team? Is there another Ford team?
Is there another Ford team?
I thought there was two teams they were partnered with.
Is Sieg Ford? I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was the team. Maybe not.
I thought it was Sam Haas factory team.
No, Sam Hunt's not. They're Toyota.
That's Toyota. Haas factory team.
Thought there was another team.
I don't think there's another team. If there is, let us know. But Harrison Burton, I predicted this a few weeks ago because you were asking, where's he going to go? And
I was in denial.
Car. Yeah, this is the only thing that really made sense if he was going to stay with Ford, in my opinion. So I don't think this is going to be.
Oh, it was an agreement with Roush Yates Engines. So I think that's where the other team was coming from. Gotcha. And Haas factory team. So they're going to be, so they should be, they have more support. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Then I expect him to get top 10s next year and maybe
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
this is still a mid-pack Xfinity team.
No,
I mean, if Lawless Allen can run pretty good with them, then maybe. I'm talking. Thank you.
All right, Kamala.
You've been talking a lot today. So, Harrison, I don't expect to make the playoffs in Xfinity next year.
I don't expect to make the playoffs. I just expect him to get some top 10.
I'm still talking. I don't think he's going to even get many top 10s. This car has so many mechanical failures that I just don't see that. Maybe the help will help. It's basically, because in Xfinity, Haas factory team is still going to have two teams, so it's not like it's the second Haas car. I just don't have high expectations. It's Harrison Burton. I think he'll do okay, but I don't see it.
They had a stretch of races where they were not finishing top 25, but that was crashes and the engine failure. Lawless Allen finished 13th at Atlanta, and then Logano finished 9th at Watkins Glen.
Maybe it was Atlanta, not Michigan.
Yeah. Then Logano finished 8th at Chicago. So, the thing is, Harrison does have experience. That's the good
Yeah.
thing. And I think he could bring that team forward. And again, with more support, I expect this team to be, higher up the running order, because there's a lot of teams in Xfinity that are just, they don't have a lot of resources. So they should be able to beat all those teams now and, run up with the Siegs and the some of the JRM cars, because they're not very good. Brandon Jones. He's going to run up with Brandon Jones.
The JRM cars will be a lot better next year with the drivers that they're getting with Zilish, potentially Carson.
I forgot Brandon Jones is going back to JGR, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jesus Lord. Jeez.
Let's talk about some IndyCar silly season, then we'll go into fantasy. Marcus Armstrong has signed with Meyer Shank Racing in the 66 car. That was previously Tom Blomqvist, David Malukas. My question is, why not Linus Lundqvist? The answer is money, but I think Linus Lundqvist has been a much more consistent and more impressive driver in IndyCar, especially at Ganassi. There's been races that Lundqvist has actually led laps in. Armstrong, he's been okay, kind of just mid-pack. The answer is money. I just don't. If it were me, I think I would go with Lundqvist, and this kind of sucks because I don't know where Lundqvist is going to go.
Yeah, that's a good question because, as we see, there is another car available, the ECR 21 at Carpenter Racing, because VK's vacating that spot, as our next point says, and that doesn't really be like, oh, that's a great ride. That doesn't do anything for me if he ends up going there.
Yeah,
he definitely. Honestly, he deserves a Ganassi ride. Linus Lundqvist. I'm so surprised that money went out in that, but I shouldn't be. So, yeah, I don't have much to say because you kind of said it already. See, I'm not talking as much anymore.
Thank you. Yeah. And the Shank team is going to be a Ganassi affiliate team kind of next year. It's been
so then they definitely should have gotten Linus Lundqvist. Yeah, I'm even more confused. As Kyle Petty once said, I'm even more confused.
But remember, Armstrong was also at Ganassi, so I don't know. I don't. Hey,
didn't he finish second at Detroit? He
led at Milwaukee,
Linus.
Yeah, Linus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Armstrong's okay. I just don't think he's him as much as Linus Lundqvist is.
You know why? You know why, Marcus? He's cuter. They think he's
that
cuter.
Way? Yeah. Mm. Happy Pride, you guys. It's September, but happy Pride.
Yeah.
Linus would have looked so good in the pink, by the way, in the pink and blue. It would have fit him very well. Anyway, you did mention it. Rinus VK is out at Carpenter Racing. I don't know where he's going to go. We're running out of rides.
Maybe he needs to go home. I don't know. I don't know if Indy cars are him anymore. Or he needs to just have an Indy 500 ride because he's only showing up at the Saturday before the Indy 500 for qualifying. That's the only time we see him.
How much of that is Ed Carpenter Racing's performance?
Well, a lot of it. You certainly need a fast car to go fast. So
yeah,
that's a lot of it by my calculations.
Because, remember, Ed Carpenter Racing's where Joseph Newgarden was, in the top 5 in championships for and winning races for. And that's how he got, elevated up to Penske. So, that is, in the past, a winning team.
I think now they've just... I don't know. Rinus VK certainly kind of has experience at this point, but now with a rookie in the 20, it's just, that team is having a bit of a crisis with, they need a strong driver to lead that team. Is Alexander Rossi the option that they will go for, to have a strong, experienced driver? I don't know.
I initially didn't think so because it sounds like Rossi knows where he's going, right? And it sounds like VK they told right before this announcement, hey, you're being let go. So I didn't think that made sense. Now I'm kind of thinking it might be where Rossi goes. I've been going back and forth because the other ride available is the Ray Hall 45 because Lundgaard's going to McLaren.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So I think, and I don't know anything, but my thought is it's going to depend on what Hy-Vee wants. Who does Hy-Vee want to sponsor? There's been rumors that they might go to Foyt to sponsor David Malukas or Santino Ferrucci. I would assume it's Malukas if they're going to do that.
That'd be a good call, I think. Even for Ferrucci. I mean, both of them are going to be good at Iowa. Like, that's their race.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sponsor them. Yeah. They could they should do 2 Hy-Vee cars. That'd be cute.
Oh, yeah.
Like at Iowa, that'd be cute. One's black, one's white. That'd be cute.
Yeah. So then I wonder if Hy-Vee leaves Rahal, would Rahal just scrap the 45 car? Because that was a new car just for the Hy-Vee sponsorship.
True.
So, and that team's not exactly good right now. So,
well, especially not this week.
Oh yeah,
especially not this week.
The FBI had to investigate why they're not good, but IMSA they're pretty good apparently.
Well, yeah.
At
least this weekend they were, because they haven't won a lot. I don't think they've crossed the checkered flag first until they won at Indy. So today.
So the IndyCar silly season kind of crazy right now. I don't know what's going to happen with Rossi. I think Rossi will be the next domino. Yeah,
big changes. Whereas this NASCAR silly season, and what we have Chase Briscoe going to the 19. We got that Haley LaJoy. So I feel like the NASCAR silly season is kind of mellow, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I don't think there's anything left, right? I don't think.
After the crazy Kyle Busch silly seasons in the past. I think we're.
And there is settled. There's one more IndyCar silly season thing. Prema announced one of their 2 drivers for next year. One of them will be Callum Ilott. Okay. The other has been reported to be Robert Schwartzman. Have you ever heard of him, Zach?
I have. He was an F2. Was he cute? Why did I like him? He was in the F1 game. He might have drove my car in the F1 game.
Oh, okay. From Dreamy Zack Motorsports all the way to Prema and IndyCar.
Okay, cool. Not the American director and writer, race car driver. Racer.
Yeah, we need the live Zack reaction.
He's not that cute. Never mind.
Oh,
I take that one back. Ew.
Okay. Oh, dang. Brutal. But that's what the report is. Kyle Milott's confirmed. Reportedly, Robert Schwartzman's going to get the other car. And then, by the way, Logan Sargent might still be in the mix as well. We talked about that last week. He might be getting an off-season test and in an IndyCar. Lots of IndyCar silly season things still to come. But for now, Zach, it's time for fantasy.
Yay!
NASCAR at Kansas. You got the point because you had Denny Hamlin. I had Ty Gibbs. You now have 20 points. I have 17. I'm a race win behind.
I'm feeling good, but it's not over.
It's not over.
It's not over. It is far from over. So I'm going to stay locked in this week, hoping to extend the lead. I'm definitely wanting to sweep the championships this year. It still hasn't set in that I won IndyCar.
Yeah, that was the first time you've done that like that.
I know. Big deal, but I'm not ready to celebrate because the job's not done.
Right. I go in for everything here.
I need to win both, or I will not be satisfied. So, I have my pick all lined up. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So 3, 2, 1. I'm trying to pick Kyle Larson, and Alex will be picking Denny Hamlin, and we got a classic. We got the classic. The classic. And you know what? I had reservations about picking Kyle Larson. Normally, he does not do that good back-to-back weeks, but
that's what kept me from picking Kyle Larson.
Yeah. And you know what? Denny Hamlin is kind of due for one, isn't he? But hey.
Last week, I'm like, Denny Hamlin ain't going to make it. It's going to be kind of embarrassing. He's going to come back next year, have a good season. Now I'm back like, well, maybe he's just going to prove me wrong. He proved me wrong once already, so.
My thing is, Larson has been one of the fastest cars almost every race. Like every race, I feel like he's leading. Like he's led the most laps this year. I'm just like, you know what? Let me pick him. And with how I think Kansas is a race where I want to see them locked in. Like I want to see them, carry the Bristol momentum, have a nice, good, fast race, dominate, get the win. Don't worry about Talladega. I feel like they're going to be all the teams, I think Denny and the 11 team as well, they're going to be very focused at Kansas. It's going to be a dogfight to get that win so they don't have to worry about Dega and the Roval. So I'm going to admit right now, I'm a little nervous that you have Denny. because I think he's due for a win at any week now.
Yeah. The reason I went with Denny is because I think a Toyota is who is going to win. I haven't quite seen that from Christopher Bell. 2311, after their spring performance, I just cannot bring myself to go with them. Otherwise, I probably would have gone with Tyler Reddick. But he's just kind of been off.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling Toyota. But I always do this every week. I'm like, here's what I would have done. If you would have picked Hamlin, I probably would have done Larson next. And then if we would have matched there, I would have went with Chase Elliott.
Oh, I had Bell. Lined up. I mean, he's been fast. I mean, he's been consistent too. Like he'll finish top 5. Like I'm just like, okay.
Yep.
I
Chase
think
Elliott's
this
been really consistent.
I think this could be Chase Elliott's week too. I think if the cards fall right, I think he could find himself in the lead.
Elliott's won Kansas before.
Yeah, and he was in the picture at the finish in the spring. So,
and if Denny wins, he'll extend his winning numbers at Kansas. He's won there more than anyone. So
my thing is, I feel like it's likely one of these two drivers win Kansas, and this could be the turning point for our championship. Either I can leave here with a 2-race lead, a 2-win lead, or you tie it back up. So this is going to be a big weekend of fantasy for us.
Very big here.
Especially as we head into Talladega, which is going to be unpredictable, and Roval.
Yeah.
It's the same for us. We want to do good at Kansas because Talladega is going to be stupid to predict. So this is,
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, that's the end of another episode. And with that, thank you guys for watching or listening. We do have a kind comment from Nike Visor 54. It says, was excited for this week's ep, meaning last week's, in the same way NASCAR wishes we were excited by overtime. Thankfully, we didn't have overtime at Bristol.
Do people go like, yes, a gay racing podcast episode? Yes.
Finally, yes.
We only get one once a week. Actually, there's 2 this week. There's 2 episodes this week.
What? 2?
Oh my gosh. We got to have a really cool guest. Are we telling people who it is?
Yeah, go for it.
We have Ryan DaCosta, and if you don't know who he is, I bet you've seen his tweets because he is the one who runs the NASCAR on NBC Twitter account. He is, what's his title? Is he like the community social media manager for NASCAR for a lot of NBC sports, I think, mostly motorsports, but he helps out with the NFL in the off season. So we got to talk to him about all that. And then it was almost an hour conversation, I think.
We talked to him about the Olympics, IndyCar and NBC coming to a close and everything, because he also did the IndyCar and NBC Twitter account, social media accounts. Really fun conversation. I think you guys are going to love it.
And he's not, if you don't know him, he's not just some like random media guy. Like he grew up racing. Like he loves racing. Story. He grew up loving racing. Because I was curious, I was like, did you actually start out liking racing, or is this just something you came to like from your job? But no, it was racing first, and he has a job that a lot of us kind of wish that we had. So definitely check the episode out. It will be out on, I guess, Tuesday. That's when it's scheduled. So Tuesday, check it out on Tuesday, kind of midday. So maybe should we push it up to Monday? No.
Keep it on Tuesday.
Yeah, because this is coming out tonight. So then Tuesday.
Yep.
Tuesday.
And
Tuesday. So
guys, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you have early access. You can go watch it right now on patreon.com/gayracing.
You don't want to wait.
Or if you don't want to wait till Tuesday, you can go ahead and do that. But if not, it will be there for everyone on Tuesday on YouTube.
It's been up all weekend. You could have already listened to it.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, to get people to watch it or listen to it in the comments on YouTube or wherever, let people know how great the episode was. Our Patreon, our loyal Patreon subs.
Yes.
Yes.
And with that, we'll take us home here. You can like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on TikTok. Those both places, we're going up. The little chart graphic, we're going up. Thank you for the support. You can rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can follow us on social media at Gay Racing Pod, pretty much everywhere. You can follow me at Newgaden and Zack at Dreamy Zack Racing.
Yep. We'll see you guys next week to talk about NASCAR at Kansas. And I think that's it. No IndyCar anymore.
Yep, we'll have Jackson Todd with us as always.
Oh yeah, Jackson. Okay, yay! And it should be
Yay!
a good race. Probably the best race of the playoffs. So
Yeah,
it's gonna
probably.
be fun. Yeah. So we'll see you guys next week. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye.